After the destructive all-for-one incident, the students of UA school are about to get a lot closer. But without a doubt, the best thing about this episode is finally getting to see Katsuki Bakugo's parents. And it's everything that I hoped it would be. Get ready for an emotional episode of My Hero Academia, my friends. That's what we're gonna get in this episode, which is kind of like the refresher episode before we move on to the next arc of the series. However, this is an episode which truly hit at home for me, as Izuku Midoriya's mother, who is not only the greatest anime mom of all time and super adorable, reminds me so much of my mom. I saw a lot of that in this episode right here, of how much she truly does care for her son, and even if it means potentially destroying his dreams, as long as it means that he is going to be safe, that really is all that matters to her. And it ends up being one of the most emotional moments of the series, and it also made me realize, I guess this is the first time that All Might's ever been to Izuku's house before. So yes, in many ways, the premise of this episode is inviting a superhero over for dinner. However, this entire episode mostly deals with the consequences of what happened with the big battle with All for One. All Might has pretty much lost the ability to use his quirk. Occasionally he can pump himself up, but that's about it. Basically, he has to retire as the symbol of justice, and it looks like that torch is going to be passed to Izuku Midoriya. However, before they do that, they also have to assess the fact that these students are in danger a lot, and they simply cannot watch them 24/7. That is, of course, unless they decide to actually live at UA, and that's when they come up with this proposal for these dormitories for all of the students. So basically, everybody's gonna start to live together, but the real best thing about this part of the episode is that we actually get to see some of the parents of some of the students that we've never actually seen before. Like Kyoka, for example. Her parents are basically a bunch of rockers. In particular, her father, who looks kind of like a 1980s or 1990s rocker with his long hair and super loud and brash attitude, with her mother being a little more reserved and resembling her just a little bit more. It's just an excuse to see how over the top and funny they are, and it really gets best when you go to Katsuki Bakugo's parents' house, which we've never seen his parents until now, and it's funny how the role reversal is here, because his mother basically is just like him. She's super loud, very, very demanding, and takes no shit from her son, which I think is really funny. But the father is very meek, mild-mannered, and basically lets his wife make all of the calls. It's really, really funny to see this dynamic, and it's not exactly what I expected from his parentage at all. But you can really see that his parents still do care about him in every single way, and are totally all for the fact that this dormitory is going to bring them all closer, and it'll give them much better surveillance, looking after them from the villains. Even Shoto Todoroki decides to return home and sees that his father is incredibly brooding over everything that happened, basically turning his weight room into ash, because, you know, fire. Also, I don't mean to sound like a creep or anything, but wow. Shoto Todoroki's sister is really cute. Fuyami Todoroki, waifu of 2018! However, the big scene comes at the very end of the episode when All Might decides to call Deku to the beach, where they have a really funny reunion where it looks like they're about to jump into each other's arms and hug each other, but then All Might just Texas smashes him in the face, berates him for going against the grain of the rules again, but also commenting on the fact that this is the very first time that he's gone through a conflict and not completely wrecked his body. He's getting better at using his quirk, and he's using it in a much smarter way, and this is when All Might declares that he is going to train him personally from now on, and he is going to ensure that he becomes the strongest hero he can be without destroying his body. But then you're going to want to bring out the tissues for the final scene of the episode, where All Might goes to Izuku Midoriya's home to confront him and his mother and tell them about the ideas of these dormitories, which of course Izuku's mother is completely against. She is tired of seeing her son get completely destroyed and hurt and not be protected by the heroes that are supposed to protect him. Basically, she's just being a mother, and she realizes that she's being irrational in this moment. She just can't watch this anymore. It's come to this breaking point. Even Izuku realizes it himself. She does not want her son to go to UA anymore. He can go to another school that has a hero course, but she simply cannot trust the safety of everything that's going on at UA at this point. It isn't until All Might prostrates himself in front of both of them, basically saying that he will do everything in his power to never let this happen again, as well as being able to try and train and focus Deku's power to become the next symbol of justice. This is in that moment where Izuku's mother realizes how important this truly is to her son, and to be so acknowledged by the hero that he looks up to so much has got to be the biggest development for him, and she simply cannot take that away. She decides that yes, Izuku can go to UA, and he can live there. I still hope we get to see more of Izuku's mother, because, again, god dang it, she's just so freaking adorable and chubby, and I love her! I love you, Mom! Make sure to stay tuned for the post-credits scene where we get to see All For One, who is going to jail, which doesn't seem to bother him all that much, probably because he's going to be working from the inside, but also because he has a lot of faith in Tomura Shigaraki, who is finally going to take over the League of Villains, and he has faith that he will do something to shake up the hero world of My Hero Academia. So, what's the rundown on this episode right here? This was another solid addition to the series, very heavy on the character development, but also establishing that yes, All Might is effectively in retirement mode. It's kind of disappointing as I wanted to see more action scenes with All Might, but then again, this was sort of an inevitability that they've been building up since practically the first and second episodes of the entire series. I always thought that All Might was actually going to die, and I really like that he's actually alive to impart a lot of his wisdom to Deku. It's going to be instrumental in watching him overcome his abilities and actually master them. It's the type of stuff that really I think is going to be the foundation of the rest of the series. As the title will imply, this is basically the new beginning of My Hero Academia, and I truly do love that. It's a turning point for the series. But a lot of the best parts of this episode just came from seeing a lot of the new characters and the parents of some of the other students. Some of them were funny and over the top, some of them were absolutely hilarious. Katsuki Bakugo's parents in particular were really fun to see. I truly did love that moment. You get to see that this big all-for-one event has actually had a lot of repercussions on the world, and even though you could argue that All Might did actually defeat him in some ways, this was actually a very big victory for All For One. I'm most excited to see how this dormitory thing is going to work now that these characters are going to be around each other 24/7. I imagine things are going to get a lot more dramatic and emotional from here. These are teenagers after all, and I can't wait to see what sort of other story arcs they're going to throw at us now that All For One is in jail. Maybe in time to introduce some brand new villains, some new characters we haven't seen before, and maybe even develop some more of the side characters of the series. Really, the future of My Hero Academia is open, and we still have another half of season worth of episodes to enjoy, so let's just kick back and enjoy them. This episode right here was really, really solid, hit close to home, had some really great animation and artwork just like the rest of the series, and it just proved yet again that little by little, Deku might be the greatest anime hero of all time. I'm giving this episode a 5 out of 5. I loved this episode, even though it wasn't a big action-packed one. I truly do love these characters, and I can't wait to see where they're going to be going in the future of the series. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts about this episode as well. If any of you guys did watch this episode, tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. What do you hope to see from all of these students actually living together from now on? Do you want to see some new villains? Do you think that All Might potentially be able to regain some of his power yet again? What do you hope to see from the future of My Hero Academia? Thank you guys for watching this review. I will see you guys next time, and as always, stay down now, baby.